Heartwarming moment. Black woman exposed hidden strength in life-changing fight with black belt. Ava stood in the ring, a world of uncertainty wrapped around her like a heavy cloak. The crowd's murmurs buzzed in her ears, a mix of excitement and skepticism. They were here to see a fight, but what they didn't know was that this was more than just a match. It was a battle for her family's dignity, a struggle to reclaim her son's joy. Malik had been bullied, words sharp as daggers meant to pierce his spirit. Ava could feel the weight of her neighbors' hopes, the whispers of support clashing with the stress of her two jobs. Each day at the diner, every late night spent cleaning offices was for them, for Malik and Kira. But was it enough? She glanced at Malik, his small frame stiff with anxiety. In the last 3 months, his confidence bloomed at the dojo, each kick and punch a piece of his shattered spirit being repaired. Ava saw it in his eyes, that flicker of strength, but still, he was scared. And here she was, his mother, ready to step into the ring, not to act as a fighter, but as a symbol. "Are you sure you want to do this, Mom?" Malik's voice trembled, worry etched across his brow. Ava knelt, taking his hands into hers. "I have to, baby. This isn't just about me. It's about standing up for ourselves, showing them we won to be silenced." The dojo's atmosphere crackled with energy as Axel, the esteemed black belt, called her out. The bravado of it shocked her, a single mom versus a seasoned fighter. But deeper than fear, she felt a fire igniting inside her. This was her moment, not just for victory, but to challenge the prejudices lingering in their community, to tell everyone that their dreams mattered. Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. As the fight day edged closer, doubts clawed at Ava's heart. What if she wasn't enough? The mixture of sweat, hope, and anxiety hung thick in the air on the day of the event. The dojo brimmed with familiar faces, neighbors, friends, all gathered to witness this unexpected matchup. Their expressions shifted between hesitant curiosity and bold belief. As the match began, everything faded away but the sound of her heartbeat. Malik's eyes were glued to her, and for that moment, she felt more alive than she ever had. Each move echoed her life, the struggles she faced every day, the love for her children fueling her resolve. Just when it seemed she might stumble, Axel's own history spilled out, his hardships, the barriers he had overcome, their experiences entwining in a beautiful, raw narrative. The crowd shifted from skepticism to support, a fusion of community spirit igniting. Ava was not just fighting Axel. She was fighting alongside everyone in the room who understood what it meant to struggle, to rise. The question echoed out loud in her heart. Could her courage inspire others to reclaim their hope too? The stakes were higher than she ever imagined, and now, with every punch and takedown, she felt a change not just within herself, but for everyone watching, waiting to see who would emerge victorious, not just in the ring, but in life itself. Ava's heart raced as the match unfolded. Each blow she took seemed to resonate with the burdens she had carried silently for years. The roar of the crowd was no longer just a backdrop. It became a force pushing her forward. Every cheer, every shout of encouragement made her feel lighter, more determined. She ducked under Axel's punch, the world around them blurring. This wasn't about winning or losing. It was about breaking free from the chains of doubt that had bound her for too long. Sweat dripped down her brow, and she wiped it away, feeling fierce and alive. For years, she had been the caretaker, the stable anchor for Malik and Kira, but now she sought to reinvent herself in this harsh spotlight. With each round, Ava pushed through the fatigue. Memories of Malik's sad eyes, the way he clenched his fists and looked back as he left for school, played in her mind. But now, she wanted to surpass those memories with something brighter, not just for him, but for herself. Her body moved instinctively, years of working tirelessly in the diner and her late-night shifts giving her a stamina she didn't know she had. Axel, with all his experience and skill, misread her resolve. Underestimating the power of a mother's love and the pain of a community, he started to slow down. Ava could see his confidence crack just as her own confidence solidified, and that realization fueled her. "Come on, Ava," Malik shouted, his voice cutting through the haze. She looked into the stands, finding his wide eyes full of pride and admiration. In that moment, he wasn't the scared little boy. He was her biggest fan, and she was here to fight for him. The two fighters clashed again, and Ava landed a solid left hook. The impact vibrated through her veins. She saw the surprise on Axel's face, and it filled her with exhilaration. It felt good. She wasn't just a spectator in her life. She was a player. The bell rang, signaling a brief pause in the action. As she stood in her corner, breathing heavily, her mind raced. What if she could truly do this? Could she change the conversation, make everyone see how much courage it took just to step into the ring? The coach offered her some water and encouraging words, but they were muffled under the thud of her heartbeat. She caught a glance of Kira, sitting beside Malik, both of them beaming. It filled her with warmth, a reminder of why she fought so hard every day. But just as she found that fire again, a twinge of fear hit her. What if she lost? Would it undo everything she represented? Would Malik go back to feeling like the underdog, stifled by bullying and doubt? The thought clenched at her heart. As the next round began, Ava squared her shoulders. She stepped into the fray again, not just to fight, but to prove a point that shattered stereotypes and built bridges instead. This was her moment, and failure was not an option. The second round started off intense. Each movement felt exhilarating, but the clock was ticking. The crowd swelled with excitement. Ava yearned for this moment to last, yet knew it could end all too quickly. Would she clinch victory and show Malik and Kira that strength knows no bounds? Or would she falter, leaving them with unanswered questions? One way or another, the climax was near, and change was on the horizon. With each agonizing second, doubt battled hope in her heart. Ava knew she was fighting not just a match, but a lifetime of battles that begged for resolution. And just as she landed what she hoped would be the final blow, the question hung in the air. Could she embrace victory not just in the ring, but in the spaces between? Ava's focus sharpened as the third round began, her breath steadying. The crowd's energy crackled around her, electric and alive. With every beat of the drum, every chant of her name, it was as though the universe urged her to find strength. She could feel it in her bones. This fight was more than physical. Axel seemed startled by her relentless spirit, and she took advantage of that momentary hesitation. Another jab landed, and she could see the fight in him beginning to fade. Glee erupted within her. She was more than just a mother in a ring. She was a warrior reclaiming her life. Her fists tightened, urgency fueling her. Each strike echoed her promise to Malik and Kira. They would never go back to the shadows of fear. That thought propelled her forward, pushing back the doubts that clung like shadows. "Let us go, Ava." Malik's voice rang again, cutting through the noise like a beacon. Her chest swelled with pride. His belief in her heartened her resolve. But with that came the weight of expectation. What if that belief faltered? For a brief moment, she paused, a fleeting lapse in the storm of adrenaline. Axel seized his opportunity, launching a swift counterattack. Pain shot through her side as he connected, but she refused to crumple. "No," she whispered to herself, drawing on every ounce of strength she had left. The pain was real, but so was her will. She was the embodiment of hope for everyone in that arena. She would not let them down. Ava's vision narrowed, focusing on Axel. With renewed determination, she ducked a flurry of punches, a primal instinct guiding her. The rhythm became a dance, the connection between her mind and body sinking as never before. The crowd roared as she countered with a series of quick strikes. Each punch carried years of struggle, sacrifice, and pain. It was all poured into this moment. Every roar of the audience filled her with fire. She saw Kira's face light up and felt a tight knot of anxiety begin to untangle in her chest. Yet, just then, a shadow flicked at the edge of her focus. A tall figure, someone she recognized, loomed near the entrance of the arena. The sight sent a cold wave through her, a menacing reminder that not everyone wanted her to succeed. Her head spun for a second, doubt creeping in once more. But she shook it off, pushing back with all she had. She fought against not just Axel but the fear that this unknown presence stirred in her. No one would take this fight away from her. Not now. The bell rang again, the round ending, but it felt like such a small reprieve. As she returned to her corner, panting heavily, the weight of the looming figure pressed down on her. What was that? She thought. Who was watching, and what did they want from her? Her coach's words were lost in a whirlpool of questions. She had come so far. Could she really keep pushing? She had to. For Malik, Kira, and for herself. The mask of confidence she wore began to crack. What if she was being tested not just by Axel, but by something far greater? The sense of urgency pulsated through her. As she rose for the final round, the stakes felt higher than ever. Could she fight not only for her victory, but to rid the arena of doubt? The final showdown was upon her, a collision of fears standing against her burgeoning strength. And as she stepped back into the ring, the question swirled in her mind. What would happen when the fight revealed more than just the champion beneath the gloves? As the bell rang for the final round, Ava's heart raced. She could almost hear it thundering in her ears, drowning out the cheers and gasps from the crowd. The air was thick with tension, every eye fixed on her as she faced Axel once more. It was time to drop the mask of uncertainty and wear the armor of her truth. Ava squared her shoulders, planting her feet firmly on the canvas. The buzzing adrenaline surged through her veins as her coach's last words replayed in her mind. Fight, with everything you have. Those words were fuel, igniting the fire within. She couldn't let fear linger any longer, especially with that shadow by the entrance looming like a ghost. Axel approached her again, but this time she saw him differently. His arrogance faded, replaced by a grim look of determination. The fight had broken him down, much like it was breaking her, but Ava refused to accept defeat. Each moment felt like a heartbeat that pushed her closer to clarity. She lunged first, her fist landing squarely on Axel's jaw. The impact sent a ripple of surprise through the audience. They exploded with cheers, the thundering noise reverberating in the arena like a drum. "Keep going, Ava," Malik shouted. The pride in his voice wrapped around her like a warm embrace, lending her strength. Just breathe, she thought, forcing herself to remain calm amid chaos. The pain from her side was still a fiery reminder of Axel's earlier strikes, but it was nothing compared to the fire in her spirit. Round after round played in her mind, each one marked by a moment of her journey. From the struggles of being a single mother to the quiet days of doubt, she now knew every heartbreak had built the woman who stood in that ring. Each punch carried not just her fight, but the fight of many who felt helpless. A mother's love and determination transcended fear. She ducked and weaved, moving as if she was dancing through a storm. Axel swung wildly now, desperation creeping into his strikes. Ava felt the flow shifting. Empowerment was like a river surging toward victory. But then came that shadow again, flickering in her peripheral vision. Who was it? What did they want? Just as her thoughts threatened to distract her, Axel reached for her again, and she managed a powerful uppercut, catching him off guard. He staggered back, disbelief painting his features. Her heart soared. But there was that specter again, lingered by the entrance, watching in silence. With a newfound clarity coursing through her, Ava focused back on the fight. "This ends now," she muttered, a soft promise to herself. With each movement, her strength intensified, not just as a fighter, but as a woman ready to reclaim her narrative. Axel lunged one last time, and she prepared, tightening every muscle that as she countered. The crowd erupted, their energy feeding her resolve. Each strike landed with an echo of her past, a promise of her future. She wasn't just fighting for a victory. She was fighting to break barriers, defy expectations, and unleash the power that had always dwelled within her. But as the final seconds ticked down and chaos turned to stillness, the figure at the entrance moved forward. That shadow had a name, and the weight of what came next settled heavily on Ava's shoulders. What did they want? In that defining moment, with the crowd roaring behind her, Ava had to prepare for the battle that lay outside the ring. What if the fight wasn't only against Axel, but against a past that refused to let go? Ava felt a rush of mixed emotions as she caught sight of the figure advancing towards her. The crowd's excitement faded into a muted hum, overshadowed by her racing thoughts. It was her mother, standing there with an expression marred by worry and concern. In that instant, the arena faded away, and it felt like just the two of them. Mom. Ava's heart tightened. Memories flooded back her childhood filled with her mother's encouragement, their disagreements when Ava chose to fight for her dreams. It had always been complicated, the distance between them thickening like fog. But here she was, witnessing one of Ava's most pivotal moments. Stepping away from the center of the ring, Ava instinctively wanted to reach out, but the battle was not over. Axel still stood there, dazed but slowly regaining his composure. She had to push forward. Though the fight had transformed her, she couldn't ignore the emotions swirling like a tempest within her. The past, the struggles to hold everything together as a mother now collided with this unexpected reunion. Focus, Ava, she whispered to herself. You're not just fighting for yourself anymore. With that reminder, she turned back and faced Axel, who seemed just as shaken by his interaction with the crowd. For a split second, there was something vulnerable about him. Perhaps he too was battling his own demons. But there was no room for compassion in the ring. Ava stepped in, throwing a quick jab followed by a swift roundhouse kick. Axel barely managed to block the attack. It was a dance, a rhythm they had found together, and for a moment, she remembered the countless hours she spent training. All of those early mornings, all the sacrifices, the love it anchored her. Come on, baby, Malik shouted, his voice cutting through her fog. You got this. She could see the belief in his eyes, the strength he poured into her. When she looked back at her mother, she saw a glimmer of that same pride. With renewed vigor, Ava pressed on. Each punch and kick became an expression of her journey, a mother's love, a daughter's fight, a woman's triumph. She could feel the tide shifting in her favor again, the crowd roaring with every successful strike. But as Axel stumbled back, there was a moment when their eyes locked. They were both tired, both battling something unseen. Finish this, she urged aloud, not just to him, but to herself, realizing using her voice might be her most powerful tool. Ava closed the distance, not just to fight, but to confront all the fear she had swallowed, all the heartaches she had buried deep. It was about more than this fight. It was about breaking free from what held her captive. She struck once more, strong and purposeful, and Axel collapsed to the mat. The arena exploded with cheers, but all she could think of was how small the victory felt in comparison to the monumental shadow looming behind her. As the referee raised her hand in triumph, Ava's eyes sought out her mother once more, desperate for her validation. But before she could meet her gaze, there came another wave of anxiety. What would her mother say? Was it too late to bridge the gaps that had widened over the years? With the cheers still echoing around her, Ava faced the weight of the real fight that awaited her outside the ring. And her heart sank. What if this moment ended up being a new beginning or another painful chapter in their story? The questions lingered, heavy in the air, as she prepared to confront the woman who had shaped much of her past. Would the fight for her future prove as daunting as the one she had just endured? Ava stood on the edge of the ring, adrenaline still thrumming through her veins, but now it was overshadowed by a thick blanket of uncertainty. Her mother's eyes seemed to search for answers Ava didn't quite have herself. The cheers of the crowd felt distant now, like echoes of a victory that rang hollow amidst the weight of unspoken words hanging between them. Ava took a deep breath and stepped out of the ring. She felt like she was moving through molasses, each step heavy as a new wave of emotions crashed over her. Malik spotted her first, rushing up to wrap his arms around her. His warmth grounded her. You killed it in there. He beamed, the pride in his voice unmistakable. Thanks, Ava managed, her smile barely reaching her eyes. She scanned the arena, finally locking on her mother again. It was a moment that felt loaded with everything left unsaid. With every ounce of courage she could muster, she approached the older woman who had shaped so much of who she was. Ava, her mother started, voice trembling slightly. You were incredible. I'm proud of you. The words were there, but they felt insufficient. Proud. Ava echoed, the deep ache in her chest surfacing. Then why didn't you support me? Why didn't you believe in my dreams? The questions spilled out, fueled by hurt and frustration, raw and unfiltered in the aftermath of her fight. Her mother's expression changed, a blend of sorrow and resolve. I was scared of losing you. Scared you would get hurt. It was never that I didn't believe in you. I just couldn't see it back then. Ava swallowed hard. Those words hung heavy. but they also held the weight of years of contention. Could they truly bridge this gap? The thought frightened her just as much as it excited her. You were supposed to be my biggest fan, Mom. Instead, you were always in my way. Silence enveloped them for a moment. The noise of the audience faded until only the two of them remained, surrounded by blurred faces. I know, her mom admitted, tears welling in her eyes. I see that now. I should have been there, supporting you, cheering you on. There's no excuse. But I want to change that, Ava. I want to be part of your life. Can we try? The vulnerability in her mother's voice shifted something inside Ava. It felt like a chance, a flicker of hope. Yet the tightness in her chest refused to dissipate. I don't know if I can just forgive and forget, Mom. It's deeper than that. Her mother nodded, understanding washing over her features. I want to push you, but I'll be here. Whenever you're ready to talk. To really talk, I mean it. Ava's heart raced. The familiar pang of fear mixed with vulnerability left her exposed. This was an uncharted territory filled with risk and hope. But what if this was the moment everything changed? As she and her mother stood together amid the faded arena noise, Malik approached with an excited grin. What do you say we celebrate your win? Get some food, maybe a cake? You deserve it. It feels like the right time, doesn't it? Ava murmured, glancing back at her mother. Yes, her mother replied softly, a small smile breaking the tension. Let us do this together. Ava took a deep breath, inhaling the possibilities. But as they walked towards the exit, an unexpected thought surfaced. If letting go of the past was the first step, what would be the next? Would facing her mother lead to healing, or would it unearth even more pain waiting to be consumed? As they stepped into the daylight outside, the questions buzzed in her mind, and the journey ahead began to unfold before her, tantalizingly uncertain. The sunlight was bright, blinding in its intensity after the dimness of the arena. Ava squinted, her mind still spinning from the fight and the unexpected conversation with her mother. As they walked, Malik fell into step beside her, his enthusiasm infectious. So what's first on the menu? Pizza? Ice cream? Maybe both? His upbeat energy was a welcome distraction, but Ava felt a heaviness in her chest that couldn't be ignored. She wanted to enjoy this moment. She had fought hard and won. But thoughts of her mother's heartfelt apology loomed large, blocking out the sweetness of victory. Let us do pizza first, Ava said, forcing a smile, then ice cream for dessert. Deal. Malik flashed a grin, already leading the way to their favorite pizza joint down the street. The sound of his voice, filled with laughter, floated around her, but in the back of her mind, another voice whispered questions. Could she really bridge this gap with her mother? Did she even want to? As they settled into their favorite booth, Ava picked at her pizza, losing herself in thought. Malik was animatedly discussing his own recent fight, his animated gestures drawing chuckles from a nearby table. She admired his ability to recover from setbacks. He was like a buoy in rough seas, bobbing up and down, never letting waves keep him down for long. Ava, Malik's voice snapped her back. Did you even hear what I said? Sorry, I was thinking, she admitted, her eyes drifting back to her mother, who was sitting across from her, taking slow sips of soda and nibbling at her crust. Deep thoughts, huh? About your fight or family stuff? Malik raised an eyebrow, concern creeping into his smile. Both, I guess, she replied. Every step forward feels like 2 steps back. I've always thought winning was everything, but now I'm not sure. Malik leaned back, letting out a soft sigh. I get it. But remember, sometimes it's the journey that matters most. You can't control everything. You just gotta keep moving, keep fighting. His words rang true, yet Ava felt the weight of her mother's gaze. It was as if her mother wanted to reach out, to take her hand, and say everything would be okay. But the divide felt vast. A gulf of years and pain stood between them. After lunch, Ava excused herself to the restroom, needing a moment alone to gather her thoughts. The cool tile was a welcome relief against her skin as she leaned against the sink, staring at her reflection. Maybe it can be different, she murmured to herself, but doubt crept in. What if she opened the door, only for it to slam shut again? When she exited, she found her mother waiting outside. Ava, can we just talk? Ava blurted, surprising even herself. Not about the fight, not about the past. Just us. Her mother's face brightened, and they drifted toward a nearby park, the quietness around them an unexpected comfort. They found a bench and sat, both taking a moment to breathe, the sounds of children laughing nearby adding a soothing backdrop to their silence. I know there's a lot to sort through, her mother began, her voice trembling slightly. But I want you to know that I'm here. I want us to figure this out together. If you're willing. Ava took a deep breath. I appreciate that, Mom. I really do. But it's just hard. I don't know where to start. Start wherever you want. We'll go at your pace. I'm not going anywhere. As they spoke, the walls Ava had built began to tremble, some even crumbling just a bit. The path ahead was still foggy, but it felt like the first steps towards something new, something that might just lift the burden of years apart. But in the back of her mind, a troubling thought lingered. What if healing wasn't as simple as talking? What if it took more than just words to mend their broken bond? Ava's heart raced, uncertainty brewing in the depths of her soul as she prepared to share the raw feelings she had harbored for so long. Could they really begin to heal, or was this just another fleeting moment of hope? The sun dipped lower in the sky, casting long shadows while Ava's resolve wavered. She was ready to speak, but what would emerge when she did? Ava's thoughts raced as she glanced up at her mother. I feel so confused. You were always distant, and I never understood why. It made me feel like I was fighting for your approval, like nothing I did was ever enough. Her mother's expression shifted, a mix of remorse and vulnerability washing over her face. I know I failed to show you how proud I was. My own struggles muttered in the back of my mind. I thought if I pushed you to be better, I'd push you away. I was wrong. A heavy silence settled between them, thick with unspoken words. The playground nearby echoed with laughter, a stark contrast to the weight they were carrying. Ava could feel her chest tightening as she tried to process her mother's confession. Could they truly start anew amidst all the hurt? Mom, she said carefully, I want to believe you. But it's hard to forget all those years I felt invisible. I don't want our conversations to feel like a race against time, an obligation. I don't want that either. Her mother shook her head, her voice laced with urgency. I want to build a foundation, brick by brick, even if that takes time. You're not invisible, Ava. You've always been the brightest part of my life. Ava searched her mother's eyes, hoping to find sincerity within them. But words don't change the past. Can saying sorry really mend what has been broken? Her mother nodded, tears pooling. No, but being here, facing this together, that's a start. It's not just about me, it's about us. Ava bit her lip, overwhelmed by the emotions swirling within her. Thoughts of their past battles flooded her mind every moment of silence, every birthday spent apart. Yet, there was a flicker of hope. If they could share that pain, perhaps they could also share the healing. What if I told you how I really felt? Ava asked softly, glancing down the path as if searching for the right words in the trees. Would that be okay? Absolutely. Her mother leaned in closer, her eyes filled with anticipation. I promise nothing will close off this conversation. Whatever it is, I'm ready. Taking a shaky breath, Ava gripped the edge of the bench. I felt abandoned, Mom. I thought it was my fault you chose to stay away. All this time, I thought I was fighting alone. I never wanted you to feel that way, her mother said, voice cracking. I made choices I thought were right for you, but I see now how wrong they were. Another silence stretched, but this time, it felt different, not heavy or suffocating, but punctuated by the possibility of understanding. Ava realized they had both been fighters in their own ways, just on opposite sides. What scares me is what if I let my guard down, and then it's all for nothing. Ava's voice trembled as she looked into her mother's eyes. What if we can't rebuild? Her mother reached out, their fingers merely brushing before interlocking. Then we face that together. You don't have to shoulder this burden alone anymore. I promise I'm committed to this. The warmth of her mother's hand sent a rush of emotion through Ava. The moment tasted bittersweet, an acknowledgement of everything lost, but also of possibilities never imagined. As dawn turned to dusk, Ava felt the first spark of hope ignite within her. But lingering doubts shadowed her thoughts. Was their journey just beginning? Or were they stepping onto a path fraught with obstacles they couldn't overcome? The moment felt suspended in time, a fragile balance of pain and promise. Ava glanced away and watched the sunset bleed colors into the horizon. She knew that tomorrow would bring new challenges, fresh conversations, and the heavy weight of truth. And just as she was about to share her next thought, Something deep inside her stirred an instinct that urged her to dive deeper into those fears, to explore the raw ache of their past. Ava took another breath, ready to unravel the truth that lay hidden within her heart. Mom, there is something else I need to tell you. Ava felt the weight of her words hanging in the air, her heart racing with the intensity of the moment. Every beat echoed the thoughts she hadn't fully voiced before, every half-formed feeling screaming for release. She momentarily lost herself in the golden hues of the sunset, the way it splashed colors on her mother's weary face. Would the truth bring them closer, or push them farther apart? Mom, she began again, her voice steadying. I've always felt like there was this wall between us. Like no matter how much I tried, I couldn't break through. I kept thinking it was my fault. If I were just a little better, you'd notice. Her mother's gaze softened, anguish flickering across her features. You were never to blame, Ava. I was the one behind the wall, shielding myself from my own pain. I thought I was protecting you, but instead, I was just missing you. Ava swallowed hard. Shame and sadness mingled in the pit of her stomach. But it felt like I was screaming inside, and no one could hear me. I needed you. I wanted to be close, to share my life with you. I can't change what has happened, her mother said, and tears began to flow. But I want to be present now. I've missed so much of your life. I want to understand who you are, what you need. Ava shifted her position on the bench, trying to absorb the vulnerability shared between them. This was what she had longed for, but the fear of new disappointments trickled in. How could they redefine their relationship after years of silence? Do you really want to hear everything? Ava asked, her voice raw yet curious. The good, the bad, all of it? More than anything, her mother replied without hesitation. It's time for honesty, Ava. For both of us. They sat in the fading light, the laughter from the playground now a distant memory. Taking a deep breath, Ava laid bare her heart. Mom, I've been struggling with my identity. Not just because of my skin color, but because I've always felt like I had to meet expectations. Am I doing enough? Am I worthy of love and life and everything good? Ava, her mother leaned forward, grabbing her hands tighter as if to ground them both. You are worthy. You always have been. The only expectations that matter are the ones you place on yourself. Don't let anyone else's standards define you. Tears streamed down Ava's cheeks, each one a small revelation. But I don't know who I am without that pressure. I have dreams that feel unreachable. I want to make you proud, but I also don't want to chase after something that isn't mine. Her mother's eyes sparkled with empathy. What if you didn't have to carry that burden alone? What if, together, we could explore what life looks like outside of those expectations? Just as they were finding grounding in each other's words, a sudden sound broke the air, a shout of laughter from the playground, a child shrieking with joy as they soared high on a swing. Ava turned slightly, watching the scene unfold with its innocent promise of childhood freedom. It reminded her of those moments she used to relish, moments of joy when she felt completely unburdened. Her voice dropped to a whisper. There are days I don't remember how to be happy. Her mother squeezed her hand. Then let us learn together. Let us find happiness side by side. No pressure, just possibility. Hope fluttered in Ava's chest, a small but significant spark ignited. They had taken a tremendous step today, but her journey wasn't over yet. Mom, there's one more thing I need to ask. Her mother raised an eyebrow, curiosity piqued. What do we do if we stumble again? If we end up hurting each other again? The question echoed like the children's laughter, both light and heavy at once, lingering in the warm summer air. Then we communicate, her mother said decisively. And we pick each other up every time. In that moment, Ava realized that the path ahead would be filled with trials and joys. But as she looked into her mother's eyes, determination mixed with a dash of love gave her hope. Uncertainty hung like the last sliver of daylight, teasing the resolve forming within her. One thing was clear. Their journey to rebuild would be a messy, beautiful fight worth taking, and Ava was ready for whatever lay ahead. Okay then, she said, a small smile breaking through her tears. Let us do this together. As they sat in the deepening twilight, the weight of the past lingered, but now it felt lighter. Because though their journey had just begun, they were no longer alone. But in the depths of her thoughts, an ominous question loomed. Was the strength they were building strong enough to weather the storms still to come? As Ava and her mother sat on the park bench, Immersed in each other's eyes, something shifted. The shadows of old grievances began to retreat, replaced by the potential of new memories yet to be forged. They had entered uncharted territory, a world where understanding blossomed amidst the ruins of the past. Mom, Ava took a deep breath. What if we made a promise today? A promise for each other? Her mother nodded slowly, as if trying to absorb the weight of what Ava was offering. I promise to listen, to be here for you, to support you on your journey. Her mother's voice was steady, and Ava felt warmth spread through her heart. And I promise to be honest, even when it's hard, Ava added, her throat tightening with the weight of her words. No more walls between us. The sun dipped lower, casting golden rays across the playground. Children laughed, their innocence a stark contrast to the heaviness Ava had carried for years. Here, in this vibrant scene, a warmth enveloped her heart. She dared to dream that their reconnection could be as joyful as the laughter echoing around them. I want to share my life, Mom, Ava said, her eyes glistening. I want you to know every part of it, who I am, who Malik and Kira are, and even the scars we bear. Her mother reached out, their fingers touching again, like a bridge built on a fragile but steady foundation. Then let us start with tonight. How about we all spend time together, just us? No expectations, no pressure? Ava's heart leaped. I'd love that. As they rose from the bench, Ava spotted Malik wandering towards them, oozing excitement. Are we going home, or what? I'm starving. Ava laughed and ruffled Malik's hair, the sound of joy bubbling between them. We're heading to celebrate. It's time for family. The three of them walked together, their hearts lighter than they had been in years. In those shared moments, Ava felt the transformation. She wasn't just a fighter in the ring. She was a warrior in her family. At the pizza joint, laughter erupted as Malik recounted his latest dojo exploits. Ava watched her mother, who listened intently, pride blooming in her eyes. It felt good. It felt right. The darkness cast by years of distance faded, and what remained was the spark of possibility. Later, as the sun set and the sky draped itself in rich oranges and purples, they shared a chocolate cake with a single candle. Make a wish, Malik urged, and Ava giggled, leaning in to blow out the flame. I wish for love and laughter to fill our lives, she declared. Her mother and Malik nodded, and Ava felt the weight of hope settle warmly over them. As the evening unfolded, conversations flowed freely and memories were made. They talked about dreams, about the future, and how they would face any challenges together. Ava knew the road ahead wouldn't be easy, but she felt armed with something she hadn't had before, a powerful connection rekindled with her mother. Weeks turned into months. Ava's journey continued, filled with accomplishments and setbacks, but now she felt the strength of her family behind her. Malik grew more confident with each passing day, no longer a timid boy but a vibrant young man. Kira, too, found her place, their family united in ways that were long overdue. As Ava looked back on the fight that ignited this transformation, she realized it was never just about punching and kicking. It was about breaking chains, forging connections, and daring to love fiercely despite the scars. She often reflected on that moment in the ring, how much it had changed her, how it had taught her that true strength ignites from within, fueled by love, resilience, and the unwavering bonds of family. And as the journey flourished, Ava learned to embrace every moment, the struggles and the triumphs, knowing they were all stepping stones to a brighter tomorrow. She turned to her family one night, as they prepared for another milestone together. No matter what happens, she said softly, we face it as a team. Her mother nodded, smiling through tears of joy. Malik chimed in, fists raised together. Ava grinned, feeling the love in the air like a brilliant, radiant light. This was the moment all fights had been leading to. They were together, facing whatever life threw their way, armed with hope and a promise. And in that sacred promise, the fight would carry on, illuminating a path filled with acceptance, joy, and endless love. Now is the time for you to take action. Subscribe immediately to the channel to not miss the next exclusive stories. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm and support the creation of more transformative tales. Comment below with your reactions and feelings about this powerful ending. And remember, share instantly this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this incredible journey. You need to subscribe now and show your support. Don't wait, not even one more second to share. True fans understand the importance of lifting the stories that matter.